Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm in EFC, this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm joined by Robbie from AFtv, where we are going to discuss and break down the game on Sunday. Robbie, how are you feeling, man? Do you feel like Arsenal could potentially, right the wrongs from the first game of the season against Brentford and give your fans some confidence and something to just have hope for?
Do you know what, Nini, right? The weird thing is, on paper, you're the champions of Europe. You should be, we're down in the dumps after our first game. You should be dealing with us quite easily. However, I remember last season when we played you, it was a similar situation where we were on a terrible run of form. We played you and we beat you.
Yeah.
We didn't just beat you, we beat you quite comprehensively. I think it was 3-1 when we played you at home. I remember when we played you guys in the FA Cup, nobody expected us to beat you in that final. We beat you in that as well. We've got a decent little record against Chelsea in recent times in the league. So I think it's our first home game.
Yeah.
You've got Lukaku. Everybody is looking on it and thinking Arsenal going to get peppered.
You're nervous, though. I met you're nervous, though. Lukaku this Sunday, you must be nervous that he's going to be there.
100%. I'm nervous. I think, after seeing Ivan Toney, the way he was roughing up our defenders last week, Lukaku should have a field day. But then it's Lukaku's first game. He's going to be a bit nervous himself. He hasn't really had a chance yet to assimilate back into the Premier League. He's a quality player, and obviously I'm very nervous of him. And we played you in a friendly recently, and you dominated us in that friendly. But it's strange, man, that we always seem to turn up when we play against you, especially at the Emirates. So I'm hopeful that we could get something out of it. I really am. Especially, I think the key is if we can get Aubameyang back from that game. The news came out that he had COVID, but he's recovered. He's negative.
Yeah,
he's back in training. We need, we look toothless up front without him and Lacazette last week in the game against Brentford when they were both out with COVID. So if we can get one of those back, that's going to help us a lot. But it's going to be a really, tough game. Chelsea under Tuchel are firing.
Yeah, we've been absolutely dominating so far, and I think what makes me feel super excited as a Chelsea fan for this season is that when Tuchel took over, we had no pre-season under him. This was literally there was barely any time to even work and stuff in the training ground. Players are literally living in hotels at the time, traveling here, games every 3 days. It was so hectic and intense. And this pre-season, he's had a good 6 weeks with the team and the squad, and I feel like I'm seeing us playing a lot more fluid, a lot faster as well. And I feel like we look a lot more dangerous now that we've added Lukaku up front, who just for me is just the epitome of what this team needs. That combination of pace and behind, strength, hold up play, and he scores every single type of goal: left foot, right foot, headers, outside the box, free kicks. There's not many forwards that can do that. So I do feel super confident that the team is going to be hungry to right those wrongs that you've been talking about with Arsenal. Taking advantage at certain times. I feel like I haven't seen a win against you guys for a while, and now that Lukaku's back, now it's a perfect time to do that.
Yeah, well, he's always been a good player. Just a pity you didn't know that the first time he was there.
Yeah, I know. That's the isn't that funny though? He goes
himself £100 million.
I know, and that's how we do it. That's how we do business. It's so funny.
That is how you do. And
now that Tammy's gone to, we do the same thing for him.
You're able to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. But okay, getting back to the game, I wanted to ask you the 3 players from Arsenal that you feel could provide the most danger and we should pay more attention to and to watch out for.
Well, I think Aubameyang, even though he's had a poor pre-season, if we can get him back for that game, as I said, we looked toothless up front last week, and in the striker department, we had Balogun playing there, who's playing his first game. We just weren't up for it. Martinelli was playing. He just come back from the Olympics. He hadn't even had a pre-season. So if we could get Aubameyang back in there and he's fit enough to play, that would be great. I think Saka as well. If Saka's fit again, another guy he's had half an hour in pre-season.
Yeah.
So again, another guy who weren't quite ready. But if we could get him in from the start, he's always a threat. He'll be pumped up for the game. And I think Emile Smith-Rowe, who looked very, very good against Brentford, I think he's going to have a major season for Arsenal. Okay. He really is. Yeah. He really is a top talent. And I think that, you know, he's a player that could be knocking on the door for that England squad that goes to Qatar in 2022. He's that good. So I think they're the key players for me. Those forward players. You know, I mean, I would have loved to have had like a fit Thomas Partey, because in pre-season he's been brilliant, and then of course he goes and gets injured in the game against you.
Very
guys.
unlucky.
I was really those friendlies that we played against you and Tottenham. I felt we shouldn't have done those. They were for great. I understand why we did do it, because for the Mind charity, and you know, it's a great cause. Yeah. But playing against Chelsea at the Emirates, where they're going to then come back to a couple of weeks later and play you again, it didn't make no sense to me.
You think it's like a psychological advantage, something like that?
Yeah, we allowed you to come now. You played on the pitch.
Got the win, got the W.
It just didn't make any sense to me. That didn't make any sense. But hopefully, you know, I feel that those players, when I look on it, they're probably the key players. Especially, I feel Emile Smith-Rowe. I think he could be the player that could be that.
And what is it?
And I remember when we played you last time. Yeah. When, you know, he was that guy. He was a guy who just sort of came in from nowhere and gave us that drive and gave us that lift. And these players are going to be really stung after that Brentford game. They've seen the criticism. They'd be stung by that, so they'll want to bounce back in this game against Chelsea. Okay, and you know what? I feel like I wouldn't even like get you to expand even further on Emile Smith-Rowe. You know, of course, he's clearly impressing you and a lot of Arsenal fans. What is it in particular about his game that really excites you, and you really feel like he really brings something to the team? He's fearless. He's fearless. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not just that he's fearless. He's got he's a very skillful player. I love the way he drives forward with the ball. But he's fearless, you know what I mean? Yeah. He won't be, you know, phased by what he's up against, and he's fearless, and he'll be driven to do really, really well against Chelsea. So I just think he's such a talent. Yeah. If I was to compare him to any player in your team, in the way in which he plays, a similar way in which he plays, not as good as this player yet, because this player has been playing for a while, but he's very similar to your Mason Mount in your team.
Yeah, I had a feeling you say that. Yeah.
Very, very similar type of player in that the way he picks the ball up, drives, always involved in the game.
Presses all the time, can play with both feet as well. Yeah.
There with the press, high energy, you know what I mean? A player that you can trust on that pitch. And I really I got high hopes for this kid. I think he's going to be a really top player.
Yeah, and let's hope that Arteta can find the right tactics to get the best out of him and out of everyone. To be fair, that's
our next thing.
We'll talk. It's a bit mad, but yeah, you know, I find it interesting that you discussed obviously that game we played against you guys in the friendly. You know, of course, picking up that win, psychological advantage. I do definitely think that that will play a part and give the team even more faith and confidence on my part when it comes to playing against you guys on Sunday. And you know,
going back to that game, I mean, one thing that we did in that game, which I'm praying we don't do when we come up against you at the weekend, is we played an incredibly high line in that game. I couldn't believe, I mean, it was literally all the time we were just on the halfway line, right? And literally Chelsea would win the ball, get the ball wide out to Werner and all the Pulisic, all these quick guys you had, and we, you know,
facing behinds every time.
And we were playing I think it was Rob Holding and Pablo Mari. Neither of them are the quickest.
Don't have pace.
We had El Neni dropping back into the set. All of them slow. Yeah. I couldn't understand it. So I'm just looking on that and saying, I hope that was just an experiment that went bad. Yeah. And that we don't try to deploy that against you guys. Because if we do that, we'll get absolutely battered with Lukaku, Werner. Those guys will get battered. That pacing behind will get
Robbie,
destroyed.
I think I even clocked it. You know, like even based on everything you said, like Arteta reminds me a little bit of Lampard in the sense that they have an idea. They have an idea of football. They want to see. They want to play a certain style, but the reality is they don't have the players for that entirely. To be able to, that's what I mean. You need to find something that suits what you got. Yeah.
You can't be playing no high line and you've got slow centre backs.
It doesn't make sense.
Quick. Now, I guess, you know, one of the things about Ben White, and that is that he's good at playing that particular style of football. But I just hope, as I said, especially with Lukaku probably starting that game as well, I do not want to see us deploying that ultra high line. It just didn't make no sense to me. So I'm hoping that was just a pre-season, let's try this as an experiment and see how it works. And it was like actually flopped. Yeah. So let's not try that again.
Let's hope this pre-season players getting fitness. But okay, going back to the game now, of course, the game against Brentford, something I'm trying to understand is where exactly did that defeat come from? Like, did you feel like that game reflected your pre-season form? Or do you feel like maybe failed? Oh, okay, it did.
It did, because in pre-season, we were getting done by set pieces, right? And then we saw that in the Brentford game. So getting done by set pieces was a thing that we saw all pre-season. And that's what you saw in the Brentford game, that reflected how we've been playing in pre-season, and that was why fans were so disappointed, because we've seen it all pre-season.
Okay, I mean, it always gives you nerves when you're not correcting things that quickly. And I mean, to focus more on the game before we wrap things up, how are you expecting Arsenal to set up? Do you think you could even reintroduce a back three to maybe cope against us, go man v man? Or do you think Arteta is going to maybe play more on the counter, or commit to the style he wants to get you guys playing whatever that style is?
I wouldn't be against the back three. When Mikel Arteta first came in, he played a back three. That's what got him. That's what we won the FA Cup with.
Yeah.
He's tried to be, play I'm going to say a more expansive style, but I don't know what his style is. That's it's been one of the big problems with Mikel Arteta, is that I don't, obviously he's trying to play this style of football where he progresses the ball out from the back, but it's too slow, it's too passive. We get caught out. That's what you saw against Brentford. So I don't know. I don't know what. I really don't know what to say. What the style is going to be. I want to see a style.
Yeah.
I want to see a style. We've got to move the ball quicker. We've got to be more aggressive in our play. If we don't play a high line, play passive against Lukaku's and Werner's and people like that with their pace, it's going to be a terrible day. But if we've got to be way more aggressive than what I saw in our play, than what I saw last week against Brentford. We've got to move the ball quicker, and we've got to create chances. We know that Chelsea got a very good defence, so we've got to create chances.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
We're at home, man. We're at home, so we've got to go for it.
For sure. I think one thing though that I've seen that definitely you talking about the style and Arsenal of yesteryear and just comparing what you guys used to have before to what you have now. There's a lot of contradictions. I look at Arsenal now and you guys are quite weak. I thought in that pre-season friendly game we were really battering you guys to the floor a lot of the times and winning those first balls and second balls too easy. And in the Prem, if you're a big team, you have to be first to everything. The minute you lose that battle, you're gonna create a lot of danger. And just looking at Arsenal's transfer business over the past few seasons, it's big. Lots of money has been spent. Players coming in for 50 mil, 40 mil. Money has been invested, but invested into what? Into what style? So there's lots of random great players, but what is the plan to get them all firing?
Well, that's when the manager comes in, and that's where he's got to do his job, and it starts with Sunday.
Yeah,
got to do his job, because as I said, there is a lot of quality in that team. Now it's the manager's job to bring that quality out, and we haven't seen that yet. Don't get me wrong, we still got injuries, as I said right at the start, to some key players, but it's his job to get the best out of what's on that pitch, and I've not seen that so far since pre-season, and he has to turn that around on Sunday.
Okay, so I guess to end with things, man, I have to ask you, what is your score prediction for the game this Sunday?
I'm actually. I don't think we're going to lose the game for some reason. I feel it'd be a draw, so I'm going to go for either a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw. I just feel that for some reason we always do all right against Chelsea. So in recent times in the league, and even though Chelsea are going to be bringing in Lukaku and that, there'd be a bit of nerves around him. It's a big moment for him, big move, 100 million. It might take him a few weeks to get himself going, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go for 2-2. Okay,
2-2. Okay, I'm going to be going for a win, of course. Can never not back my team. I'm going to be going for a 2-1 win. That's, I think, a respectful scoreline. I think it will be I'm expecting an Arsenal team that's going to be up for it, because they're playing against us, and I think naturally Arsenal players are more pumped for games like this, and I think we definitely have to be on our toes. And if we want to win, we're gonna have to play well. We're not just gonna sleep our way to a win. So thank you, Robbie, for coming on, man. Of course, you guys are to follow him. All the links in the description below. And on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more